It's all happening. This thing's nicer than my apartment. Surely you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. So I got that going for me. Ouija's nice. Ah, Mr. Musk. Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark. She's beauty and she's grace. Hey, you guys! It's not a man purse, it's called a satchel.
Captain, I'm surprised.
Well, it may be a surprise to you, but it's been on my mind for weeks. It's just my way of telling you that I love you, that's all.
What's up, 2000s era slur?
That is a little bit the story of this movie, isn't it?
I will say, though, we had a lot more fun than the comments leading up to this movie led me to believe we would have.
I kind of liked it, like in certain parts, you know.
But
Like,
let's keep the order of operations. Hey, ghouls, how you doing?
Good evening, ghouls.
If you're not already aware, this is the Undead Poet Society podcast. I figured out a long time ago that I was media literate, and in order to fix that, we made a podcast where we're going to watch a bunch of movies that I should have seen a long time ago. And joining me is Robert and Becca. Say hi, guys.
Hey.
We are continuing our Requiem for a Shitty Commercial miniseries, whatever the actual name is. If you're only jumping in now, we watch movies exclusively at Regal because we have the Regal Pass. They used to play this Pepsi commercial that was terrible. It was a bunch of movie quotes that people were speaking into it like one another with while eating Pepsi products. And we hated it. It was the worst, but we memorized it word for word. They recently stopped it. They killed it. We're celebrating its death by watching all of the movies that it quoted in order. And this week's is the one, the only, The Hangover.
Not the only. Isn't there a
It
sequel?
actually is not the only.
No, I'm pretty sure it was just the one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the hot take. It's not.
You were
as bad as
groaning,
I thought.
dog. You were
I was-
groaning.
I was moaning, bemoaning myself after having to watch this movie, because I knew it was just gonna be. I don't know, just like everything that we've hated about the
Boy
series
humor.
distilled into one movie,
Teenage boy humor.
and then it just wasn't.
Well,
I mean,
I
it
think-
was, but
It was, but like, I guess teenage boy humor can be funny if you fully commit to it. I don't know. Why was this one funnier than some of the others that we've seen?
because it wasn't like all just like poop and fart jokes and like shit like that. It was like there was like a couple of bits that were actually kind of funny, like the card counting bit is really funny. The fact that this like stupid dude somehow learned how to count cards while he was like reading a book about it, and
my
like
favorite line was, "This isn't the real Caesar's palace." Right? Like,
Yeah,
Caesar didn't
exactly.
stay
The thing-
here,
exactly.
right?
The thing that I noticed, so you've got your you've got your 4-part quartet, except one of them is missing, right? And so the other 3 have to find him. Zach Galifianakis, is that how you say it? Galifianakis?
Yeah.
Galifianakis, I think, yeah. something like
Whatever.
that.
His character is just Brick from Anchorman. Like the like semi insane one that just does and says weird things apropos of nothing, you know? But this character lands so much better for me than Steve Carell's Brick did in Anchorman, because Zach's character would start in places where I was like on board, and then there would just be these hard ass turns. You know what I mean? Like
Just left field, like yeah, 100%.
just out of nowhere. And I don't know. I was really impressed with either his performance. Like, I don't know how much of it was improv or how much of it was written. I will say, like, I'm sure that a fair amount of this movie was improv, but it didn't feel that way in the way that an SNL movie sometimes does to me. Like, it all felt like it belonged there, which I think is just good improv. Like, good improv is often when it doesn't feel like improv and you find out later, oh, that was improv. That's impressive. But every time his character did or said something, it just completely stole the show. Like, I was unable to notice or care about anything else because he was fucking hilarious. Everything he did and said.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think he's kind of written to be the star of the show in some ways because of how crazy and weird he is. In that way that, like, the comedic relief is always kind of the star. You know what I mean?
Of a
And he was
comedic movie, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of a comedic movie, yeah. But like, I really enjoyed Bradley Cooper's performance too. He plays such a good fucking asshole. You know
Yeah,
what I
he
mean?
does.
Like, and
Like
he
a
looks
likable
so fucking
asshole,
good
like-
doing it.
An asshole that knows how to, like, keep people in his good graces just enough. You know what I mean? Like, he
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like balances those spinning plates on the top of sticks. I don't know. And god damn is he a smoke show in this movie, dude.
He's just so fucking
He is
hot.
so
I said it.
ludicrously attractive in
I
everything
said
he
at one
wears.
point, I was like, the Hangover is just a show about Bradley Cooper getting hotter and hotter in every scene until
Yeah.
he culminates in like the
Like-
desert, just rugged with a busted lip,
With those
with
Ray-Bans.
sunglasses.
With the Ray, I know. Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
he looks
daddy.
hotter for being, like, dirty and tired looking. Like, how is
Right.
that? How is that fair? Like, that's heinous bullshit.
Yeah,
We should probably
And,
do
like-
a summary.
yeah. I will say before we do the summary though, that even Stu, who I think is the weakest character, just because he's kind of a nerd, he like has his moments. You know what I mean? Like,
He's the only one
kind
with an actual whole ass arc. Like, he's like everybody
exactly.
else
Yeah.
in the quartet is the same, whereas he actually manages to ditch
Have a
his
character. Yeah.
just a harpy of a girlfriend, almost fiance. You know, like he's the only one that actually went through any meaningful change. So in a lot of ways, he's the spine of the movie. It's definitely not the most glamorous part because he fucking sucks. He's just such a nag and he just whines and complains all the time. But he is the only one that actually became a different person by the end of the movie, which is interesting.
Yeah. Who wants to do the summary?
I could do it if no one's.
Oh,
Becca, you want to do it?
sure. We have, so it's a on medias res narrative where you start in the middle. At
What
the
did you call it?
wedding.
What is that term? I don't know that term.
On medias res.
How do you
It's
spell that?
Latin.
Like, is that like a loan word from another language? Why does that sound
It's
weird? to me?
It's Latin, yeah.
I haven't heard that term before.
It's
It
one of
shows.
those where you
That's the point of the podcast. Shut up. You literally can't make fun of me for not knowing things.
also we're English majors, so like it's okay that he doesn't know.
Damn.
But
I want like a
Maybe.
quarter every time Becca mentions that we're English majors on the podcast.
that's part of my personality. There's only like a few pillars of it. One is that I have a broken leg, the other is that I lived in Tahiti, and the other is that I was an English major. Yeah.
Holy Trinity.
Yeah. But basically it starts in the middle of the action and then you go back. So you have, I don't even remember the main character's name. He's so freaking milquetoast, dude. He's getting married and he has a bachelor party in Vegas a couple days before the wedding. And he has his friends, I can't remember their names, Ed Helms and Bradley Cooper, and they're going to have the best time of their lives, but then his the bride needs her brother, who is played by Zach Galifianakis, to go with them because he needs to feel accepted, and he's just the strangest person on earth, just really awkward and
Unrelentingly
weird.
so.
and they're basically just gonna like have a good time in Vegas, like for one night. And there were some clear rules. The only rules that the bride gave her husband to be was to not let him drink and don't let him gamble. And so immediately they go out on the roof and the
their hotel.
brother of their hotel. Yeah, they get to their hotel and they go up to the roof, and the brother gives them alcohol. They do shots. So already we're starting on a great foot with the rules. And then they wake up the next morning and there's a tiger, which is like the
Just
thing.
mayhem.
And then the baby, everybody knows the baby with the sunglasses, and everything is just
currently drawing the baby
crazy.
with sunglasses.
crazy. And the groom is missing. They can't find him anywhere. And so the three of them kind of like go out and try and figure out what happened during the night, and find out that they had been roofied at some point, and that it was the brother. He like roofied them because he thought it would be funny, because he thought it was ecstasy, but it wasn't. And basically shenanigans happen. They end up finding out that like Stu had gotten married at a little chapel, like the little chapel. Some people shoot at them. They find their car, and there's like the leader of a gang who's just like naked in the back of it. And like, then it totally like they find out like, hey, our friend's here. They have a ransom to get their friend from the gang. And then it's not their friend, it's the drug dealer. And then they find out like through just like revelation of talking, like, oh my God, we left our friend on the roof of the hotel. So they had done a prank where they put him on the roof, but then you can't like access the building, which they very cleverly and very nonchalantly made. Like it was a Chekhov's doorstop.
Yeah, they did foreshadow
beginning
that,
of the
didn't they?
movie.
Because they had to put
And
the cinder block in the door.
He said,
yeah.
"Hey, prop that open, will you?" And that's like it. It's
Yeah.
really good.
It's
But
there
then
though.
they go up, and he's been sitting on the roof of a Las Vegas hotel of Caesar's Palace for 2 days.
So long.
And then they make it back just in time, and everything's
And like in the
good.
summertime, and me and Alec grew up in Las Vegas. That would you
could maybe die.
very easily die.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Very easily die. Like not like yeah, it's absurd.
It's so
and then
funny
he's like
the
covered in
way-
blisters and like
'Cause he's
it,
been
like just
sunburned.
horribly sunburnt. Yeah. It's
when
so
they
fucking funny.
when they find him, he's like propped up against like an HVAC, and then he like gets up and runs and like tackles them and starts. It's so funny. I don't know. It's silly. It's just the picture, the imagery is just so good.
I have. Are you done with your summary?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, so they make it to the wedding on time, and
Yeah.
Ed
Just
Helms, who
Oh yeah, and they
has been plagued by his like just unbearable partner, who's
Cheating
very
partner.
overbearing, cheating partner, finally breaks up with her at the wedding.
and then they find a camera.
Exactly, yeah.
They find the camera, and it shows them what they did all night and how
The
they
end
stole Mike
credits.
Tyson's tiger, and yeah.
What I have a theory why this movie is better. I literally just think it's because there's more effort put into the writing of this movie than other boys humor movies that we've come across, because boys humor, like it is what it is. Like some people
written
go
for the
in
boys'
for
humor.
it, but some people don't, and that's totally fine. But I think where it comes across poorly in other movies that we've watched is where it's teenage boy humor, but like lowest common denominator effort. Like they didn't really put a lot of effort into it. There's a lot of effort in this movie. Like it's a lot of effort to find a tiger or to call Mike Tyson's agent. You know what I mean? Like there's
they had money for this movie, man.
yeah, like but apart from that, there's actual interesting writing going on. That foreshadowing is an interest. Like there was a writer present. You know what I mean? Like somebody was there besides just a bunch of SNL comedians riffing skits off of each other. You know what I mean? Which is fun and good for a comedy movie. But like maybe we need a little bit more than that to be a movie rather than just a sketch. And I think what sets this apart is the framing device, because I can see a version of this movie that is exactly what you thought it was going to be, Robert. And it's the version of this movie where the movie is the night that happened rather than the day after. You know what I mean? Because that's the more immediate, easily accessible, low-hanging fruit idea, right? for comedian actors go to Las Vegas and have a crazy night where they steal tigers and get in fights with Mike Tyson and shit. You know what I mean? Maybe that would have been funny. Maybe it wouldn't have been funny. But I think it's just such a more interesting, like, The Hangover.
It becomes like
it's in the title.
whodunit almost.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The fact that they're piecing it together and they're kind of taking advantage of like the Blair Witch or like Jaws principles. You know what I mean? By not actually showing what happened, your mind goes wild thinking like what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? Like if they'd actually shown in like great detail or on camera, on screen, on stage, whatever you want to call it, exactly what had happened, now it exists in a box. You know what happened, you know who was there, you know what was said. But when they just wake up to like random statues and like smoking things in sinks and like scantily clad women tiptoeing out the door and chickens and tigers and just mayhem, like all in their Las Vegas apartment, it's so much more intriguing than just fratty shit being done in front of a camera, you know? Like it's more engaging, and then exactly like Robert said, it becomes a whodunit. They're trying to find their friend, and all of this is such a more interesting prospect than just four guys going to Vegas for a bachelor party. That's my thesis as to why this is better or different.
I think that's correct.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm a dumbass and grabbed ice cream before we started this, and I just realized how long this is going to take, and it's going to completely melt. I'm going to stand up and put this in the freezer and get some water. Give me like 90 seconds tops.
Okay.
And Robert, you have to cut this out.
I'm not cutting
Don't
any
cut
of
it
it out.
Don't cut it out.
I'm cutting some of it out, but I'm leaving in the ice cream part.
I think you're absolutely right in your thesis. It's like, and what I've been thinking is that the other like boy humor movies, their primary purpose is to be boy humor movies, and their secondary purpose is to tell a story. Whereas I feel like this one was intending to tell a story, and like you said, it's not the story of the night of. It's more interesting than that. You just give it another dimension by making it the night after, and then it is like you're finding things out with them, and it was a comedy secondly, you know, or secondarily, I don't know. The first thing it is a good story, and then the second thing is the humor, and the humor is where it gets kind of tricky. Because when was this released? Like 2009?
Yes.
Something like that. And
Hangover, 2009, yeah.
And I only know this because that song came out that was like, I woke up with a strange tattoo. Not sure how I got it. Not $1 in my pocket. And it kind of looks just like you. Makes Zach Galifianakis, because now everyone knows who Zach Galifianakis is because of The Hangover. And that's the only reason I know that. But they use a lot of mean words and say some things that they should not have said that are mean.
I mean, like, not as many as I was expecting.
I mean,
but
and I feel like every
that
time
was
they
one of the
did, it
primary
was
reasons.
to illustrate that he was an asshole. Because specifically, it's Bradley Cooper's character.
Right.
And when he said those things, it was to show, oh, this guy kind of sucks. Like he's pretty and he's like kind of cool on the surface, but also, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got some oofage.
Still not something that.
No,
not
something
great.
you wanna see.
Not great, but also not just like point blank sincere slur usage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than that. It doesn't get any medals by clearing the bare absolute fucking minimum. But
yeah, that's where I land with it too. It's just like I can't defend it, but I do understand why it was used in those moments.
I wanted to talk about as well, since we're going back down memory lane with the 2009 stuff. when this movie came out, I knew nothing about it because I had no interest in knowing anything about it. And I was like, I'm never going to see that movie in my life anyway because it's rated R and I don't watch rated R movies. And I never will for the whole rest of my life. And,
Oh, how little she knew.
she was just a baby, you know?
Just a little
But
baby.
she was just a tiny little baby. But the one thing I knew about this movie, besides like the baby and the tiger from the trailers, was it's not a man purse, it's called a satchel. And that, like, I don't know about you guys, everybody used that in my life from 2009 on. Like, it's not a man purse, it's called a satchel. Is like, I think they reference it in Rapunzel even, or like what's that movie, Tangled. They like say it because it was that like
Culturally,
I feel like culturally
impactful.
relevant. He was like, it's not a purse, or I can't remember. They call it a satchel, and that was like the one thing I knew from it. So I feel like the quote that they chose is pretty
absolutely
good.
Everyone knows what that quote is from.
However, why the fuck was it in this commercial? There was no need for it to be in this commercial whatsoever.
They just wanted it, I guess.
But why? I don't understand. There's so many movies in the world. There's so many movies that they could have just put in this commercial. Maybe they were given like a list of movies that like
Yeah, that's possible.
they had to choose from. I don't know, because it
I don't
just
know. I
doesn't
think
make
this movie's a
sense.
slam dunk. That quote in particular, everybody knows what that's
Yeah.
from. Like, you can't
Yeah.
not know what it's from.
But why was it in here? Like,
Yeah.
It does feel more like they were just
they
mining
wanted it in there.
quotes rather than like,
Trying to make it cohesive.
yeah, so like a cohesive, yeah, exactly.
But they succeeded with almost all of them. Except for this quote. Like, it just doesn't, he walks up and says it. And then, I guess the Dumb and
He
Dumber
kind of like
quote.
preempts it, which like sabotages
why?
the joke, you know?
I mean,
It's
like,
like
the guy looks at the person and looks at him, and then he says,
yeah.
"It's not,"
Is
you know
it?
what I mean? But it's not enough. It's not enough. Like,
I don't know. Also, there's no open seats next to them, so I don't know why they were, like, assuming they were gonna sit next to them. I don't know.
Also,
It's
the
one of
other
the
jokes
biggest
make
flops.
more sense because it's a snack commercial, and like the other ones, like they're walking in and so they comment on the room, or she's buying popcorn and references her rewards program through a movie quote, or they're walking towards the movie theater and a guy is excited about his popcorn and then spills it on him and then his friends tease him. You know what I mean? Like all of those, like kind of make sense in the sense that it is a Pepsi commercial for a movie theater. That one in particular, like it's not the most egregious. The most egregious by far is "You can't sit with us, so you're telling me there's a chance." That's the one that
Yeah.
really makes me fucking angry because it doesn't fucking make sense. But it's not a man purse; it's called a satchel. I don't know. Like there's you're not really there's no Pepsi being sold in this line. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of there. And also, he delivers it very differently than how Zach Galifianakis did in the movie itself. So it's kind of, if we're if we're ranking the shitty lines from this shitty commercial, that one's definitely mid tier for me.
that entire exchange between those two characters, I guess.
Yeah,
in the commercial.
it's
The
a
quote-unquote
generous term, but I don't know
character,
what
yeah.
other term to use.
It doesn't make sense at all. It was like they were like strapped on time. Like I don't know. Yeah.
Have you guys seen... I found it. Me and my boy Joshua go to the movies, and he's like so excited. He's like jumping. Stop jumping, dude. You're gonna drop the popcorn. We're gonna go watch Thor. You're gonna drop the popcorn. Stop. You're gonna drop the popcorn. And then he like trips and spills the entire bag of popcorn.
Becca just had an aneurysm
Do you
on
know that?
I
I have
am.
no idea what you're talking about.
You are alone.
Hold on.
You are the most alone a person's ever been.
I think you made that up. Like, I don't think that's real.
Hold on. Okay, I just sent it in the chat. It's so
This is
funny.
what
I
our
love this
podcast
video.
listeners really
yeah,
want. Is
the
YouTube
us
clips being sent to
reacting.
us over Discord.
We don't have to put this in.
All right, ghouls, and we're back. After
And
watching
we're
that
back.
video.
After Becca's embarrassing digression.
I guess I'll post that video in the show notes in case anyone's curious.
No, you could just go back to when I started that comment and just delete this whole thing.
Nah.
No.
If my
It's
ice
okay.
cream transgression
If
is being
Alec-
left
yeah.
in, then this is getting left in 100%.
It's not gonna be.
Too bad.
It's too late.
No.
It's too late.
Please.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this movie really, because I guess we could talk about our favorite bits. I love the thing where they like pull up to like pick up Bradley Cooper from the school, and fucking Zach Galifianakis' character's like, I can't be here. You're like, wait, what? And he's like, I can't be within 200 meters of the school. And they never elaborate.
They don't need to, bro. Look at him.
Zach
Yeah, it's so
Galifianakis'
good.
character and Bradley Cooper's character, I probably should remember what the characters' names are, but who gives a fuck? They're like budding friendship throughout
Yeah,
the movie.
it's so fucking good.
Because like
they-
it's,
so
it's like
it's
Bradley
obvious
Cooper-
that it's obvious that Bradley Cooper and Ed Helms are more held together by history than like who they currently are.
Yeah,
as
they're like
people.
friends.
And but Bradley Cooper's character is there to get fucking wild, and Zach Galifianakis' character is surprisingly down to clown. Like just like in an almost like you ever had a friend
But he
that
doesn't
like
cuss.
yes and
You know what I mean?
like
He
dangerously
doesn't swear
though.
at all. It's so funny.
He's like weirdly offended
Oh,
by cussing.
Fudge. Like
Yeah, it's
but
so
we'll
funny.
roofie his friends. Like it's so strange.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Ed Helms' tooth was actually gone. It had to have been.
Yeah.
There's no way
no
that
for
man-
sure.
I'm
like
fairly
that.
certain
It was
it's-
way too realistic to him
I
not
think-
have a missing tooth.
I think that's been a bit before in some other things he's done as well.
I wonder if he looks like he's from the Midwest. Maybe he plays hockey and he's got like a tooth that he could just
He
like pop
looks
out
like
if he
he's
wants.
from the Midwest.
Tell me he doesn't.
He is powerfully Midwestern.
I'll look up that fool right now. Where is that Elms from?
Jamie, can we look that up?
Jamie, can you pull up that video of that elk getting hit by that fucking car? Damn it, he's from Atlanta.
Rip.
Rip. He had open heart surgery at 13.
What the fuck?
Yo,
I'm just like scanning the
The
Wikipedia.
Ed Helm pod.
Oh my god. Sex trafficking?
No.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I was like, shut the fuck up. No way. Ooh, pedophilia allegations.
you guys really don't
Ooh.
think that my dad looks like Ed Helms?
No.
No?
Not even slightly.
I mean, I'm looking at this Wikipedia picture right now. I'm not sure if this is what our audience wants either, future Robert, because nobody knows the fuck Becca's dad looks like. We really can't lock in on this episode. But like, I mean, he's an older white man that can grow a little bit of beard and has a short default haircut. Like, hold on, like look at this.
His head is so much. His forehead is so much. Like your dad has a small forehead, and Ed Helms has a big forehead.
Beat the podcast chat.
It's like not even the haircut is like.
I could see
Similar
strangers
for
getting
me.
them confused with one another.
Okay. Maybe
I can't get on board with any of it.
I mean, like, he
Maybe-
looks more like Becca's dad than, like, Whoopi Goldberg does. Like, he's at least, like, the same general demographic.
That's not what people mean when they say, "Oh, you kind of look like X person." Like, I would never look at either Becca's dad. I have known Becca's dad for how many years, and I never once thought that he looked like Ed Helm.
Well, there you have
Maybe
it.
it's just because he does that thing that my dad does on The Office, where he goes, "Brickadoo." And my dad does that all the time. You know? Weird things like that.
Yeah, and that physically changes his appearance to look
It
like Ed
does.
Helms.
It does. And they both play the banjo.
Kazooie.
Wow.
All right.
All
Ghouls.
right.
I think we've said what we need to say.
We are really good
Mike
at
Tyson was in this
podcasting.
movie. I love that. Love Mike Tyson in a professional manner.
We do.
For his accomplishments in boxing and nothing else.
Are you separating the art from the artist right now? Is that what I'm hearing?
You gotta do it when you're a fight fan. You can't. You gotta separate the fight from the fighter.
Don't meet your heroes, MMA fans.
Do not meet your heroes because every single one of them will disappoint you.
Every single one of them has hit their wife and worse.
I like. It's such a weird place to be as an MMA fan who's also like a leftist, you know, like
It's impossible.
It's
impossible.
a weird crossover that like you don't find very often, and it's a lonely place because MMA fans are pretty much what you think they are. Okay, let's rank this and get some poems. All right, ghouls, where do we have it on our list?
Since mine doesn't matter and there's no rules, I put it at 50 underneath Casablanca and above Mad
my
Max Fury Road.
Oh my god.
That was a double whammy for Alec right there.
Oh.
Did you miss the part where I said my list doesn't matter?
Man.
Fucking Christ.
I felt Alec through the fucking wall.
If your
groan.
list doesn't matter, then I'm just going to mute you from now on while you say this and then not listen to the episode. I'll just
But
give you
it's
30
silly.
seconds and then get back into the podcast.
It's silly.
God, that makes me so
I
fucking
bring
mad.
such a silly little
Casablanca
guy
and Mad
energy.
Max down at 50s? Fucking
my-
50s?
Casablanca's 51 for me, and Mad Max is 57. This movie's actually above Casablanca for me. I have it at 48 under
Did
over
he
the
come
garden
back?
wall.
Did he come
and
back? Say it again. Say it
over
again.
the Goonies. He never left.
He never
48 under over the garden wall and above Goonies.
You were both undeserving.
left. Oh, God. I'm just saying, Alec, movies get better when they've been around for longer. We can just get better at making movies. Casablanca is a great movie, but it was made in 1942. And I personally think that Megan is rightfully two spaces above Casablanca.
What you got for me, Alec?
I would respectfully not like to do this podcast anymore. Like there are other reasons. This
He's
isn't the only
resigning.
reason.
He's resigning
but
from his own pod.
Yeah, I think I'm retiring. You guys can, if you want to, you can keep it going. But I'm respectfully
We'll
just
get
gonna bow out.
Chase on. We'll just replace with Mike Cell with Chase or Justin.
Just a cooler Mike Cell, yeah.
What do you got?
I honestly think Brandon would have better takes on the movies that we watch. So.
I don't even know where I put it anymore.
You RNG'd it.
I put it at 21, above Creed 3 and below Oppenheimer.
Damn, you got a lot higher than I do, though.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys have just drained any energy to do commentary from me. You guys have really done a number on my mental health.
In like 30 seconds.
All right, let's wrap this up.
You read your poem, then read your poem.
The night after, falling in love with a stripper never felt so much like communion. But what's a drink or 12 between friends?
Cute.
Snaps. Okay, I'll go next. It's like that feeling when you lost a tooth by your own hand. Your tongue persistently seeks out where its friend used to be until the space is more familiar by far. Or maybe a punch from Mike Tyson in a hotel room you can't afford. Head pounding from the Las Vegas heat, throwing mattresses off rooftops, calling out SOS desperately while your friends count cards and marry strippers. Get something greasy and take a nip of the tiger that bit you, We got a sequel to shoot.
Speaking of hangovers, last night I got so drunk that I started ripping like posters off of telephone poles and just putting them in my pocket. And
Yeah, should I do that?
I don't even know what they were for, but I've got them now. Here's my
She
poem.
also said some really problematic stuff about the gays.
About what?
The gays.
Oh, the gays. Yeah, probably. One night and 29 floors away from a memory, drowned and drugged and dropped from a roof. A coliseum filled with all of my regrets, and I stand in the middle, a spectacle to behold. Period.
Snaps. Period. On.
Man, this was a good episode before. That'll put me in a sour mood, dude.
We
Good
gotta
night, ghouls.
we gotta get to Al's house by 5:48.
Should we do an episode on the Haunting of Hill House as a bonus?
Oh, that would be
Yes,
great.
yes,
That would be lovely,
please.
right?
Let's do it. Let's do it. We got to do it. But yeah, tell us if you want more television show stuff. I'd be
Yeah.
down to do some episodes about shows.
Yeah,
Cool.
ghouls, where are you? How come I never hear you?
We still haven't
Well-
received a dick pic.
Not a single
Still
dick
haven't
pic.
received a dick pic. Well,
Those
that's it for us.
love
If
you ghouls.
if the takes that you heard on this episode were as upsetting to you as they were to me, you don't have to listen to this podcast anymore. Like, you can just lose our number.
We'll include the suicide hotline number in the comment or in the show description.
You can include the suicide hotline number and the voicemail I leave on your cell phone of me right before I commit suicide. It'll be a really nice little juxtaposition.
My word.
Good night.
Good night, ghouls. Bye.
Right.
Rate us 5 stars. Oh my god. Chase, I guess, does the music. Bye.
Alec, what the fuck is this shit?
I'm sorry, do you not have like a human soul able to appreciate art? Is that what I'm hearing?